I normally sort of come up with an intro once I've watched the show, but this time I've decided to do the intro in advance just because I know I'm going to be very emotional. I have been very emotional since I found out that Josh and Mimii won, because I really loved their story. I really loved their story. This is why I did an episode where I did predictions, because I was trying to sort of make people understand their journey. I love when you can see that people genuinely like one another and then they genuinely are having stronger feelings than just a like for one another. I've watched the Love Island franchise for a little bit. So I watched Love Island Australia, Love Island USA, and Love Island UK. With Australia, the last season just broke my heart because my favorite couple were dumped, Georgia and Nate. And I felt they had a genuine connection, regardless of the storyline that the producers were trying to give them. And I'm happy that they're still together and they still seem to be thriving. So I love that. With the American franchise, this season, sadly, I know people are excited that Cordell and Serena won. For me, there is no connection there that I saw that I think, oh, this I really love, or I can invest myself in, because there's this thing. It's very difficult to say or to describe, but I can't feel it with any of the couples. So with the American version, this is why I didn't do a review of the finale. But with the UK version, for me, the moment Josh came and he took Mimii to the hideaway, he had me at hello. He had me at hello. Because from that moment, I could tell that this guy really likes this girl. And so I'm happy that I've been championing them. I know I was told off by someone in the comments that I'm trying to rationalize and excuse Mimi's behavior, but I could see that there was an emotion that was just stronger than gameplay. And so I am happy that they did it. I'm excited as though I know them personally. But I love love. And when love wins, oh my God, I'm excited. I know they haven't said we love each other. I know people are complaining that, oh, Kieran and Nicole said they love each other and they were boyfriend and girlfriend. Yeah, but I'll try and explain the difference, in my opinion, as to why Mimii and Josh won. Anyway, hey there, thanks for stopping by. It's your girl Valerie. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe, click the like button, turn on the notification bell for when I upload new videos, and definitely leave a comment. In this episode, I'll be reviewing Love Island season 11 episode 49, the finale. It's interesting that this year they didn't have final dates for the couples individually, but I think the budget was spent on bringing back the islanders to make the vote. And I think in bringing back the islanders to make the vote, they had to pay obviously for flights, accommodation, food, and everything else. So this is why they didn't have a budget for that. But at the same time, these are people that seem to be getting along very well. And I think yeah, it's cute that they sort of did this dinner around the fire pit and stuff. Yeah, would it have been nice to give them individual dates? Yes, but the problem is someone always gets shortchanged. They always get the crappy bits and others always get the exotic, more expensive dates. So I prefer this. Anyway, so you have the islanders, they wake up and the girls make breakfast. This I love. This I love, because I've always criticized Love Island that the boys are always the ones getting the coffee and making the breakfast. When will the girls do it? This was cute, although it was just some burnt croissants and fruit, but it was cute. It was cute, and the boys really appreciated it. Oh my God. And Josh was being fed by Mimii, and it's like Mimi's pampering this man. I love it for her. So they then all sort of, they're excited. They get to sit around with the girls and the boys, and they're just talking about their journey and where they are. I love the fact that Josh recognized that, he came in towards the end. So he's very blessed to be there, because he came in 2-3 weeks to the end of the show. So for him to be in the finale, it's something that is a pinch me moment. He's still sort of trying to understand what happened. The other guys are ecstatic because the other three are OG guys. So they're ecstatic to have gone from the beginning to the end. Ayo is shocked that he's actually made it that far, because he was vulnerable for a number of weeks, a number of sort of eliminations. So he's actually shocked that he's still standing. Sean, his gameplay was always to get to the end. In my opinion, that's it. Kieran, I think once he secured Nicole, he knew he was going to get to the end, and this is why he didn't waver from that. The girls are excited. They're happy to be where they are. It's sort of a kumbaya moment. Everybody's happy. And then the boys receive a text message to say they need to go and get ready for final vows. They're going to have to come up with the heartfelt couple of words for their girl. The girls are left to do the same and to sort of glam up. And It's surprising that Matilda is saying she's struggling. Matilda and Sean are a couple of convenience. Ronnie hit the nail on the head because there's no emotional connection there. I think if she had been with someone like Oma, she'd have had a lot more to talk about or a lot more to say, even Hugo or Jake. But she decided to stay with Sean because she knew it was convenient and you would get her to the finale. And sadly, there is no chemistry that's tangible. Yeah, they kiss each other. Yes, they rub each other. They do everything. But it's not like you can say, oh, these people are really dying to rip each other's clothes off. So I don't get it. The boys are taken to this barbershop and it's like, couldn't they fly in, someone who looks like Josh and Ayo to do their hair and to do their, their lineup because they would understand it better. No offense to the ladies, but I think the texture of the hair matters in what you're used to dealing with. The only person I could see that actually had something done was Sean. The other guys, they just looked the same way they did when they walked in my opinion. They might as well have brought back Connor and asked him to sort out Ayo and Josh because he would understand, and he was doing their hair when he was still in the villas, so it would have made sense then. The boys are wearing suits. I don't know. They looked good. I personally preferred Josh and Kieran's suits. The other two, they looked like they were going to the prom or they were going to a wedding. I didn't quite get them. The girls' outfits, I loved Mimi's dress. I loved Nicole's dress, sort of. And I like the style of Jess's dress if it was a different color. The candy floss pink, I don't like. It's like she's going to a prom, so that I don't like. And then Matilda's dress, I have no idea which grandma they took it from. I have no idea. It's not giving. It's not giving. And the fact that you had the guys teasing Josh when Mimi came out, because Josh was just standing there like a statue. He couldn't say anything. He couldn't do anything. And then, so they were saying, oh, she's shining. Sean said she's shining. And then Kieran was teasing Josh that, oh, Josh is speechless. Josh doesn't know what to say. And he didn't know what to say. He was just taken aback. And it's like, wow, Mimi's dress looks amazing. It's in black and it looks amazing. Even Ayo had to say, you clean up good. You clean up good. So all the guys were impressed with what their ladies were wearing, which was amazing. It's a bit orcs because, okay, so they sit down for dinner around the fire pit, which is sentimental because you're using the fire pit for something totally different. But it's a bit orcs galore for me. I don't know anybody else. It's a bit orcs galore. I couldn't quite listen to Ayo and Jess's declarations just because they're talking about the fact that, oh, we had a spark from the moment we met and we've been going since then. Oh, I love that you protect me, you do this. And it's like, this is totally opposite of what this man did for Mimi. I know Mimi's got a man. As she said, she wanted someone who would be all about her, and she has a man who is a ride or die, a literal ride or die. So I love that they're making these declarations to one another, but it's a bit orcs. And I'm surprised that the camera didn't pan to Mimii and Josh. I don't know why. Because Mimi says they are now friends. So I don't know whether it's because they looked very happy for them or whether the producers are still trying to milk this or they don't get along. Instead, it focused on Matilda. And it's like, what has Matilda got to do with the situation? Ayo said he loves Jess. I'm happy for him. I think it was important for him to say it. And I think it was important for them to make this declaration to one another. Because when they go back home, it's going to be orcs galore. Especially with Ayo's brother. Given the fact that, yes, we've all heard that he said he preferred Ayo with Mimi. But we haven't heard the fact, no one actually has repeated the fact that he said, but if you're happy with Jess, then I'm happy for you. So I don't know how that's going to work out. So I'm happy that Ayo has managed to sort out his feelings. He knows he really likes this girl. He knows he's in love with her and he knows she's his everything. She already has been obsessed with him from the moment they coupled up. I'm happy that they've gone on this journey. I think to some extent it has provided healing. It has. And looking at this situation and looking at the situations in Love Island USA, this is a teachable moment. This is a teachable moment because the way Ayo and Jess came together and the fact that Mimi didn't kick off, whereas we had people in Love Island USA kicking and swearing and shouting, and the way that she waited for her person to walk in, and when that person came in, he came in with the intention of wanting Mimi and has stood by her. So I love the transformation and I love the full circle moment for these two couples. Yes, it's Ox galore hearing someone brag and, well, not really brag, but just talk about the nice thing that somebody who treated you badly is doing for them. And you think, oh, so, a guy will only do what he wants for the woman that he wants. That's literally it. So whatever Ayo wasn't giving Mimi, maybe the connection wasn't that strong for him. It was convenient, and when he found the person that he wanted, he did everything, and she's happy. So I'm happy for them. I love their declarations to one another, although I felt a bit uncomfortable watching it just because Mimi was there with Josh. I don't know whether I'll feel the same because I'm biased when Mimi and Josh start speaking, but hey, it is what it is. Next is Nicole and Kieran. Obviously, they bonded by the fact that they were both Welsh. So this was evident in their vows. The fact that, as soon as they saw each other, Nicole ran up and asked, "Are you Welsh?" because she heard him speak, and they've had a journey whereby they've really enjoyed getting to know one another. I personally didn't quite get it. I didn't get it. There wasn't substance to it. There wasn't really substance to it, because to me, Nicole and Kieran sped through a lot of things in the sense that, yes, Kieran at the start was sort of tethering between Harriet and Nicole, and then eventually Joey cornered him, and then he decided that he was going to go with Nicole. And since then, most of their journey has been about their struggles with Nicole's jealousy. That's the storyline that I've got from them. And so it's sad that we didn't get to see any other aspects of them outside of that. And I love that they love one another. I always root for love, but their connection is a bit strange for me, because outside of, Nicole not trusting rugby players and Kieran being a rugby player, they're both Welsh. I don't know what else is there. I really don't know what else is there, because there was a time she was calling him out about his age, and she was calling him out of his name. And so I don't get the growth to get to where they are, and their story, I feel, has been left on the cutting board because the producers have been more focused on Joey. Maybe if Joey hadn't been there, we would have got to know them more. But as of yet, it's sad. Their final vows sort of aligned in the sense that they more or less wrote the same thing. But there is that thing that's missing, that sort of outside of the fighting and the "I love you" and we're boyfriend and girlfriend. What else do they have as a couple? We really didn't see them sort of ride any turbulent waves whereby they had to sort of unite and be a united force. We always saw them sort of butting heads during their journey. So I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but that's my thing, and that's where I wish we had seen more. Yes, with Jess and Ayo, we did get to see them sort of back each other and sort of fight for one another. But with Kieran and Nicole, I don't remember seeing that. And I know with Ayo and Jess, it was linked to Mimii and Josh, but still, we had more substance with Ayo and Jess than we have with Kieran and Nicole, outside of the fact that they're boyfriend and girlfriend. They said "I love you." They're both from Wales. They live 20 minutes away from each other. That's all there is. And that she was jealous and she now trusts him. But we haven't had a situation whereby she's had to prove that trust. So I don't know. Oh my God. This is why I really was avoiding reviewing, because I knew I'd be very emotional. I tried to do it last night, but I couldn't because I was very emotional and I just didn't want to watch. I wanted to watch it when I was at peace. And so next up is Mimii and Josh. If you've been here, you know I stand Mimii and Josh. So Mimii is the first one to go with her vows. And she speaks about the fact that, her journey began when Joshua came in. I truly believe this. And I truly support this, because I think as much as she was in a couple with Ayo and she liked Ayo, I don't think her feelings was as genuine, or I don't think, well, if she was genuine on her part, I don't think Ayo was genuine. I think Ayo, to her, she was a coupling of convenience because of the way he treated her. He put her in so many uncomfortable situations. He put her in a love triangle with Uma. He then tried to put her in a love triangle with Jess, and she said, "No, enough is enough. I'm not going to do that." And so for her, I remember on the night of Casa, before she went to stand outside the door, she told Ayo that, "I want someone who's going to put me first. I want someone who's going to prioritize me. I want someone who's going to recognize my value." And so to have Josh come in and be that man, I love it. I love it. The fact that she started with Joshua, because when they first sat down for their very first chat, she asked him, "How do you prefer to be addressed? Is it Joshua or is it Josh?" And he said, "Family call me Joshua. You can call me Josh." And so for her to go back to what his family call him and go through her, you could see Joshua wanted to cry. Joshua wanted to cry because she talks about her journey up until she really doesn't touch anything to do with Ayo, but she talks about the fact that she came in looking for a connection and didn't think she'd find it. And the excitement she had when they got the text message to say that they were going on a date with Ruben and Joshua. And then how there was an instant spark when they saw one another, which we all could see that she kept trying to avoid looking at him because this man was making her feel things she wasn't ready for. And then when they went on their date in the hideaway, that was the thing that sealed it for Joshua, because he said before, after recoupling with her, he told her that, the kiss in the hideaway is what sold me on us and told me that you were it. So I was going to pick you irregardless of my speech when she wasn't happy with her speech. So for her to acknowledge that, she's felt cared for, she's felt, he's her protector, and these are qualities that she looks for in a man, is telling you that she's looking at the long journey. She's not just looking at in the villa. And she's acknowledging the fact that she thanked him for everything that he's done for her. Oh my God. It had my heart. And you could tell Josh wanted to cry. Josh was very emotional. He was trying his best. But you could tell he wanted to cry. I was crying on his behalf because it's just like, oh my God, this is so sweet. This is so... I don't even know what to say. But I loved it. I loved her words that they were personal to her person, and they were sort of acknowledgement of everything that he does for her, acknowledgement of the person that he is and why. Because he asked her, what do you like about me? And so for her to list out what she likes about him, oh my God, I'm here for it. Let me stop. I said it before, I'll say it again. Jess S and I are starting a fan club for Mimii and Josh. We are the chairperson of Jomi Club. So if you want to join, see us. The fact that she was crying as Josh was reading his vows to Mimii is just amazing. She's cheered them on, regardless of the situation whereby, she took the guy that Mimii was in, whatever. She has cheered for Mimii the loudest. Yes, I didn't like her at the start when she was trying to sort of get Mimii to sort of like her. But once they've sort of sorted out their mess, I love the fact that she's been their loudest cheerleader in the villa. Oh my God. Anyway, I loved Josh's vows. I loved them because he spoke about his connection with her, and he spoke about the fact that it was always going to be her for him. And we've seen this because Grace tried her best. Let's not forget. She tried her best to win this guy, but he never wavered. The producers tried to get him to change his mind and tried to sort of encourage, I think, a life triangle. And that's why at that game he said, let it be clear to everyone that I'm not interested in Grace. And so for him to stand up there and sort of write a poem for her where he's giving her words of affirmation, Mimii was crying. This is why when people say to me, Mimii doesn't like Josh, she likes, Ayo better. No, she doesn't. If you look at their situation, Mimii has been more emotionally invested with Josh than she's been with Ayo. Ayo brought a person from Casa. She walked out, she went and she crouched by the door and didn't cry or do anything. Yes, she cried a couple of days later, but that was it. Whereas Josh, the moment he kissed Grace, she went and she kissed Ayo. And that was below the belt and he couldn't hack it. And that's when he immediately stopped funny games. And for him to just read his vows and have her in tears, I love them. And I love how they care for one another. I love the fact that they're not letting the show influence their decisions. Yes, they've agreed to be closed off because this is what they want. But they haven't felt the pressure to say, let's label each other boyfriend and girlfriend. They haven't felt the pressure to say, let's say, I love you. I love it. And the fact that Josh said, I love watching you fall asleep on my chest, and, it seems like nothing else matters. The fact that you're very funny, and at times I find myself laughing at your jokes on my own. And it's like, oh my God, he is affirming everything people are criticizing her for, and he's telling people the truth about who she is. I loved it. You had the girls were giddy. They really loved it. I loved these vows. I might be biased, but I think they were more thoughtful. Or more thoughtful and inspiring, followed by Ayo and Jess. Kieran and Nicole, I don't even know what they wrote. It didn't make sense to me. Lastly was Matilda and Sean. Sadly, that was underwhelming. It was underwhelming because when you compare it to the highlight, which was Josh and Mimii, it's a big drop to go to the vows that Matilda and Sean had written. Yes, Sean spoke about his journey and how much he struggled until Matilda came in, but it was underwhelming. I didn't get it. I really didn't get it, and I don't even know why. Matilda on her own spoke about, their connection and how she really likes him. She sort of humors him like he's a little kid. Oh, my dear Shawnee, my dear. And it's like, that's not the way you describe a man in your life, unless you don't want an alpha male, unless you just want someone you can move around. Because to me, it doesn't make sense at all. It really doesn't make sense, if I'm being honest. You have them sort of, Matilda gives an example of how her nan described, the type of man you should want and how he should make you feel. And it's like, but that's not Sean, though. That is really not Sean. It's a pity you decided to stay with comfort than to actually look for what you wanted. Because had you looked for what you wanted, even Ronnie sort of said Sean ain't it. And I think Ronnie's words sort of are playing in her head as well, Matilda. I think she's questioning what he meant by this won't work in the real world. And we all know why it won't work, because Sean has been labeled a racist. And so there's all that to come and they have to deal with that. I don't know. I really don't understand them as a couple. I've never understood them. I don't even know what they're doing in the top 4. I think even Ronnie and Harriet or Uma and Will could have been better in the top 4. Even Ruben and Grace, as much as they weren't that romantic connection, or it wasn't a strong connection, anyone else would have been better than Matilda and Sean in the final 4. That's just my opinion. They exchange I love yous and everybody else appears shocked, and it's like, we all the viewers know that he already said I love you. This is not the first time he's telling her he loves her. Yes, he's heard Ayo say that, so he's trying to parody so that it seems like it's their moment, but it's underwhelming. I believe more Ayo and Jess. They're more believable that it's genuine and they're saying it for the first time. For you, it's just a placement, just for convenience. And then they all run and jump in the pool. Mimii is, a soft girl. I love the fact that Josh, everybody else ran with their partner holding their hand and were jumping in. Josh jumped in first and then waited for Mimii to jump in. And as soon as she jumped in, he was there to sort of pick her up and make sure that she didn't stay at the bottom, even though it's not that deep. But I think he just wanted to make sure that she was okay. And so that was cute. That was really cute. This man will go to war for his woman, and I love it, and I'm here for it. And everybody really seemed happy. That was a cute way to finish the event and sort of not, make it awkward, because Sean and Matilda's speech was a bit off. The conversation between Maya and the other islanders, well, the ex-islanders was orcs galore, in my opinion. The fact that we had to hash through the Samantha and Omar beef with the Joey and Sean didn't make sense. For them to try and sort of address the Harriet and Jess situation also didn't make sense. That's orcs galore. And then they finished off with Joey, and it's like, seriously, is there nothing else that we could do to fill the time? Is there nothing else? They then show a montage of the events of, since day one when the islanders walked into the villa. I completely forgot that Ayo was the first boy to walk in, and he walked in with Nicole. I think this is why maybe they've been very close throughout, because they walked in together. Harriet and Mimii walked in together as well. Maybe that's why they were friends. And it's interesting to see the turnaround, to see how many people have come and gone and what sort of things have happened throughout the journey. And it's heartbreaking to see Mimii crying. Yes, she's happy now, she's at peace, and her tears are not tears of sorrow, they're actually tears of joy. So it was great as a reminder, but it was a bit orcs galore, given some of the people have grown from their situations and have moved on. So I don't think it's a good idea to keep rehashing it, and especially if we're going to have a reunion. I don't know why we had to see this. So 4th place is Jess and Ayo. Am I surprised? No. They were never going to be top 2. Never. I think even if Mimii and Josh were not there, they were never going to be top 2, because there was really nothing stand out about them outside of the situation with Mimii and Josh. Nothing else about them stood out. Yes, we saw Jess's personality towards the end, but still at that, there was really nothing about their story that was stand out. I know there's some people that love them. I know someone in the comments has had a go, but there was really nothing stand out. Yes, I feel like Ayo being in the villa with the guys has been amazing for him because he's learned from the other guys how to treat a woman. He's learned from the other guys how to behave in a relationship. They spoke about the Casa recoupling and seeing Mimii come round, and it's like, let's leave Mimii. Mimi's happy, you're happy. Let's now divorce them and make them two separate relationships because they don't need to be intertwined. They spoke about Ayo's brother and Ayo's brother's opinion, and just said, just because two people are similar doesn't mean they belong together. And it's like, yeah, okay. She respects the brother, and I think maybe she should have allowed Ayo to speak in this situation. That's my opinion. I think she should have waited until she saw the brother face to face and they had a conversation before she says something like this, because that might not be received very well. Ayo knows his brother best, and so he knows what his brother means when he says whatever he says. So I feel like Jess maybe should have just taken a backseat in this situation. I like that they're happy. I like that they're at peace. Their journey has been their journey. Sadly, it's been intertwined because of people like Joey. They've sort of intertwined the journeys with Mimii and Josh, which is really sad, but it is what it is. We move. Am I the only one who's surprised that Matilda and Sean came in third? I feel like they should never have even made it to the top 4, let alone top 5. I think they should have gone home earlier. Because of the way Sean behaved in the villa, I think he shouldn't even have had the opportunity to couple up with Matilda, because he tried to sort of get out the competition, and since then his confidence grew, or his ego grew, as soon as he got Oma out, and he became the villain that he was. And so for him to sit down with Maya and say he regrets some of the things that he said and blah, 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 it's like, no, you're saying that because the producers told you you're in trouble. You're saying that not because you genuinely feel bad, but you're saying that because the producers got you in trouble. Why didn't you repeat word for word what you said at the fire pit? Because at the fire pit, you said that Joey was making you do things that you didn't want to do. Now you suddenly, the cat has caught your tongue and you can't say anything. Make it make sense. They spoke about his sweet shop and the fact that Matilda will be helping him on TikTok. And it's like, it's sad that he doesn't know that his business has gone under, because apparently people are giving him 1-star reviews and stuff. So it's really sad that, he doesn't know how bad things are. He's going to wake up when he gets home, or as soon as he gets his phone and he hears from his family and they tell him exactly what's been going on. Hopefully his mental health is strong enough to sustain whatever he goes through. But at the end of the day, he didn't care about everybody else's mental health when he was making those malicious comments that he was making. So I have no empathy for him. Sad. So the two remaining couples sit down with Maya for a chat, and just to sort of, I love this because it's, at the end, when the results are announced, people can barely speak and they're so excited and everybody's wired for sound and no one will be able to sort of have a coherent sentence. And at the end of the day, even now, people are still very antsy, but at least it's better. So they start off with Kieran and Nicole. They show, they discuss their journey and where they are. Kieran and Nicole, I think, are at an advantage in the sense that they live 20 minutes apart. Their disadvantage is Nicole's trust issues, though she says she's overcome that. And it's like, well, hopefully. Because she's Welsh, Kieran's mom wanted him to sort of match up with a Welsh girl. But I think they have a long journey to go. I don't think they're ready to settle down. I don't remember how old Nicole is. I think she's about 24, 25. The problem is Kieran is only 21. He's only 21. Yes, he might be mature for his age, but he's 21 at the end of the day. And I don't think he's old enough to sort of take on that responsibility to be a daddy to somebody. They say they want to go on a date. They just want to be away from everyone and just have a moment to themselves. So Nicole is saying that they might go to his place instead of him going to his place and she going to hers. And it's like, oh, okay. I love that for them. They live 20 minutes apart. So if he needs to go home, he can always go home. Their journeys... There's something missing in their journey, in my opinion. There's something missing in the sense that it's either their edits were sort of misplaced, because even now we see how Kieran chose her. We see how they ended when he gave her the necklace, but there's quite a chunk in the middle that's missing. All we got to see was their fights, and we didn't get to see the other side of Nicole, because I think the producers were trying to make her as someone who's untrustworthy, someone who's very confrontational. So it's sad that we didn't get to get the full experience of what is Kieran and Nicole. It's interesting how many people are joining the Jomi fan club. I know Maya really liked Mimi. Even when Mimi was heartbroken on coupling for Casa, she tried to lighten the mood by telling Mimi, oh, you look beautiful, this, that, and the other. And so you can see she's a fan. You can see she loves them to bits. Because when it comes to Josh and Mimi, she sort of speaks to them. Did you expect to be in the final two? No, we didn't. She sort of speaks to Josh about, the fact that he came in and he zoned in on Mimi and he never wavered from that. And Josh acknowledges that, yes, he came in with expectations for Mimi. I said this in one of my reviews before, but she surpassed whatever his expectations for her were. And so once he realized that he was set and he was not going to waver from that, they spoke about him obviously being her support system and sort of backing her regardless of what was going on. And he said, I never wanted us to show weakness. We are a team, so if we show weakness, someone is going to come in. And had they shown weakness, this is what Joey was after. I feel like people like Joey would have come railroading in and broken them apart. I think this was their goal because they couldn't understand why Mimi was never vulnerable. And so they were looking for cracks in that sort of connection to try and find their way of sort of breaking up Mimi and Josh. That's my opinion. And they spoke about Mimi and her friendships with the rest of the islanders and her expectations and how she feels about this connection. And for me, I like the fact that Maya sort of said, you're being treated the way you deserve to be treated. And she acknowledged the fact that, Josh, we love the way you speak about Mimi. We love the way you look at her. And this is good because whatever doubts Mimi has, she's now questioning, what did I miss about this guy? My family love him to bits. Maya is smitten with him. It's talking about people are smitten with the way he talks about me. So if she hadn't acknowledged it or if she hadn't noticed it, now is the time. Although in her vows she said, when you look at me for a long period of time, I get butterflies. And it's like, oh my God. This I love because you can see how they've moved. You can see how they've moved from the day they first met. Whereas with Nicole and Kieran, the producers did them a great disservice by cutting out large chunks of their journey, in my opinion. So Maya stands with the top two couples. And so it's between Kieran and Nicole and Mimii and Josh. The thing is, Mimii and Josh's story, even though they faced a lot of obstacles, it was told authentically, which allowed the viewers to connect with them. The problem with Nicole and Kieran's story is because they mainly focused on the issues of communication. And I don't think the producers actually wanted them. Well, they would have preferred them to be top three, in my opinion. I think they wanted Joey to go all the way, or they wanted Sean to go all the way. But the problem is they didn't realize that Sean and Joey would end up becoming too comfortable and make the racial comments that display racial behavior. And so I think it was too late for the producers to sort of edit out Kieran and Nicole or flesh it out, Kieran and Nicole's story, because by then the thunder from the Jomi fans was too loud that they couldn't ignore it. The same thing happened, I remember, on Love Island USA when Zita and Timmy won and the producers were trying to push Debbie and somebody else. So am I surprised that, it's announced by Maya that Mimi and Josh have won, and I'm ecstatic for them. I'm ecstatic. They've been through a lot. They've been on a journey that has shown relationships as they are in society, that at times you are in a relationship that you think is functional, but the other person is not functional for them. And when they break things off with you, they are done. You might not be done with that relationship. And so you will need time to process that relationship. If you don't process it, then you're going to continue to fall into the same sort of habits and same sort of relationships. So I'm happy that we got to see that bit of Mimi sort of transitioning from a relationship to Ayo, and the fact that she was able to find love again, because I think a lot of people give up on love once a relationship has failed and they think, what's the point of me continuing to put myself out there for things that might not work? So I love this for them. Maya then reveals that, Mimi and Josh have won. Oh my God. I love the fact that Ruben and Ayo were the first people on the stage to congratulate Josh. Everyone was ecstatic for them. I think most of the islanders really loved Mimi, and they loved the fact that she found a man who treated her the way she should have. I think Maya, sort of speaking, echoed what everybody else was thinking. So I love this for them. They deserved to win. They really did deserve to win, and they deserve all good things that come with it. I know I saw their podcast that they did with India, and they were saying, in regards to the money, they haven't discussed it. All Josh said was, when the money comes, we'll discuss what to do with it. And then Mimii was sort of talking about investing it and planning a holiday, doing something nice for her mom, and something nice for his mom. And he was happy that she mentioned his mom, which is good though, because yes, she's been in the longest, but at the end of the day, she needed him in order to win. So it would be nice to sort of acknowledge that, irregardless of whether or not irregardless of how they divide the money at the end of the day. I think it's nice that she's also taking into consideration his mom. It was really cute, and I really loved this for them. I love the fact that Kieran and Nicole came in second. No one else deserved to be second than them, because they've been very supportive friends. And even when it was announced that Mimii and Josh won, because Mimii and Josh were too stunned to speak, you had Kieran and Nicole run across to them to sort of, but Josh was just stood there. Mimii was trying to process it, but Josh was so in shock. Someone did a slow-mo video of him online, and you can see that he's not grasping the fact that they are in first place. I think he's just trying to think, why are they calling our names? And so it was cute. It was really cute that everybody ran on stage to sort of congratulate them. And one thing about Josh is, even now that the show is finished, he's never going to disrespect Mimii. I was just glancing at the way he was hugging the girls, because the girls were coming to hug him, and how he made sure that he did not do anything that might be considered inappropriate or anything that someone can later use against him. And I'm like, I'm here for this man. This man wants to make sure that his woman knows that she's only for him and nobody else. It was really cute, and I loved it. It was a great season. I really enjoyed it. I hope we have a reunion, because I can't wait to see home visits and everything else. Anyway, thanks guys for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe, and click the link in my video to watch my review from episode 48. Bye guys.